Okay, so I have something new to share with you, something I've been doing for the last 2 weeks in the morning that's totally made a difference in my day, in my energy levels, in everything, as I'll tell you about. And so what this habit is as soon as I wake up in the morning, I've been taking morning walks. Woo! It sounds super simple, but seriously, it totally determines your mood for the day, like kind of your MO. And so I kind of want to share what's been going on. So a couple of weeks ago, I was just realizing that in the morning, I would wake up and I would pour myself a cup of coffee and I do journaling and stuff, which I really like, but I still was just like feeling not energized. And that's my nature, is to be bubbly and energetic, but I just wasn't feeling it in the morning. And maybe I need to take a coffee tolerance break or something, but I just was feeling like I was waking up, I was having my coffee, I was doing, a few things, and then getting to work at my desk here and still kind of feeling half asleep. So I wanted to try something a little different. So what I started doing was, as soon as I wake up in the morning, I throw on some clothes and I get out the door for a morning walk. And seriously, it has just totally changed my mindset and the way my body feels. So I wanted to share a little bit about it. Again, it's just been 2 weeks, but I've seen such a difference here. So first off, what I really noticed with my body was that it feels so different to move first thing in the morning. Like, I exercise 5 days a week, but that's different, and that's usually something I do midday. So if I'm doing it in the morning, it's like I'm getting my body moving, and even having more of like a gentle movement is actually a really good thing versus like getting straight to the circuits or something in the morning, or like weightlifting or something like that. Just having like more of this gentle movement. And actually I felt a difference in my breathing too. I felt like when I woke up, got my coffee, did my journaling, got to my desk, I wasn't breathing that deeply, which is kind of weird, because usually we don't have to think about breathing, but sometimes you do. And so with morning walks, I just felt myself breathing deeper, and that just seriously made such a difference, along with just like loosening my muscles. So when we exercise, we get sore muscles a lot of times, and it would just kind of loosen things up. So my body felt different even after 2 weeks of doing walks. And I've actually noticed so many differences in my mindset too. So first off, it really helped me wake up, it really helped to energize me, which was the reason that I did this in the first place, or wanted to do this, wanted to find a new solution. And then when I get out there, it's like, sometimes I feel weird if I'm waking up, I'm, doing my little routine and I'm getting to work and I'm not like interacting with human beings and like right away in the morning, because I live by myself, and usually it's not till later that I'm talking to people. But when I get out in the morning, I love walking around the neighborhoods and just saying hi to people. Like, friendly strangers make my life complete. I don't know, maybe I'm a weirdo, probably am, but it just seriously, like waving to friendly people just lights up your morning. I don't know. But that's something that I noticed that I really liked about it. I guess it depends if you live in a friendly neighborhood, but that's something that I really liked about it. And then also, it's feeding my mind, because when I'm out there on the walk, I'm actually listening to podcasts or audiobooks or like audio programs or something that help me to like really get motivated and excited, and like that just totally is another piece of my energy going through the roof from the morning walk, is listening to something that gets me going. And no surprise for anyone that knows me that it's Tony Robbins usually, and that just kind of gets me going. And then more of like for the soul, it sounds so cheesy, but more of like that side of things, of the benefits that I've seen, is that when I'm out for my walk, I don't plan a route and I never go the same way each day. And in that, I get to kind of explore, and I get to kind of be a little spontaneous and see something new, and just like notice little things about, maybe it's this cool house, or maybe it's this really awesome looking tree, or maybe it's just like a really beautiful like little meadow or field or something, or hill, I don't know. Like just noticing these little things and appreciating them and exploring and just seeing what I can find has really helped me to just be happy in the morning, to explore a little bit. Really just makes me feel good, gives me the warm fuzzies. So, and of course, like the nature element of it, really just kind of lights up my morning. So those are the benefits that I found. Obviously, even with just a couple weeks of doing this, I've seen such a difference in all these different pieces. So there are a few things that I would recommend, like some tips here that will set you up for success with this if you want to try it. And first is in terms of preparation. So when you plan ahead, when you kind of set yourself up to get out there, then it's gonna happen more likely. And the first thing that I really like is, I've kind of mentioned that my mind's not awake yet until I go on this walk. So it's like I don't even have the mental capacity to pick out clothes. So if I lay out clothes ahead of time, I don't even have to think about it. I just throw them on, grab my earbuds and my phone, tuck my key in a little pocket and go. And that makes it feel so effortless to just get out the door, rather than kind of being like, ugh, it's such a hassle. And we don't want those things in the morning of like these little barriers, these little annoyances, because that just kind of feels like sandpaper on our lives. So to pick out my clothes ahead of time, seriously, makes it so easy. And deciding ahead of time about weather is important, because you don't want to like get to the point where you wake up and you're like, oh, it's rainy. Should I roll over? Should I, like, having to make a decision makes it harder for it to be habitual. So I made a decision that if it's going to be rainy, which luckily for the last 2 weeks, it's been awesome weather. But if it wasn't, I decided, okay, well then I'll just go on a shorter walk and I'll throw on my rain boots, I'll get my umbrella and go, and there's gonna be, cool things to explore, to appreciate about that too. So making a decision ahead of time about weather, or maybe you decide, okay, if it's rainy, I'm not gonna go, or if it's rainy, I'm gonna do just as long of a walk, or maybe it's shorter. So kind of making a decision ahead of time makes such a difference, so you don't have to debate when your brain's not awake yet. And then also having not just your clothes picked out and like decisions picked out, but also the audio picked out. So I pick out a podcast the night before, or right now I'm doing an audio program, Tony Robbins, no surprises here. And I just know exactly where I am in that audio. So having it picked out ahead of time also helps me. So I'm like, I just have to click play. It's super easy. And the more it can just be a super easy process in the morning, the easier, or the better it feels to just jump right into it. And then a few things I have, a few little tips here that I've noticed is that during, making it the first thing is super important. So it's like, I want to be able to go into my morning energized, and if that's the thing that's going to start the ball rolling, then I want to do that first and foremost. So for me, I've really noticed that doing it right away, having it be the first thing, really brings all these benefits, is what brings all the benefits. And then I've noticed the piece about exploration, and I think it's so important to leave room for spontaneity, to let yourself kind of wander, or if you see a street you've never been down before, say, I wonder what's down there, and go for it, because that's actually where a lot of the benefits, a lot of the fun, a lot of the interest, and what kind of makes me happy in the process comes from, is just allowing myself to be spontaneous when I'm going on that walk, saying, I want to go this direction. That's not necessarily, there isn't going to be as much decision fatigue from that, because you don't have to debate. You can just do it without really thinking like, hey, what about this? And just kind of function instinctually, as long as you can pretty much remember how to get back. Of course, if you have your phone with you, then there is GPS, worst case scenario, but just generally knowing where you are, and like making sure you're safe and stuff, of course, but allowing yourself to wander and to see like new areas, and allowing for that spontaneity is super important. But figuring out the general location is also good. So this past week, I was in a different spot. I was visiting my family, and there aren't really neighborhoods or areas to walk in where, like, right away. I can't just like walk out the door and walk to different places. There's like one little road and that's it. So I had to decide ahead of time, okay, I'm gonna jump in my car and go to this spot. And so that's kind of a thing to know during, is like, where are you gonna be generally, like what location? Because if you have to drive there, depending on where you live, luckily here in my home in Raleigh, I can walk out the door and go so many different places, but like generally knowing ahead of time what area you'll be in while also letting yourself be spontaneous is pretty good balance, I've noticed. And then the last tip I have is just to look around you and enjoy it. Like if you're like, gotta be awake, gotta get this done, gotta check it off the list, gotta do it, and like hustling through it, it's not gonna be as fun, it's not gonna be as interesting, and it's not gonna bring as many benefits, because the reward is doing it. Like the reward is the process, the reward is being on that walk. So actually like enjoying it and looking around and being really present and appreciating the little pieces, that's like what brings so much joy to that routine for me. So definitely enjoy it would be my last tip. So I hope you try this out. Let me know. I'd love to hear. And I'm gonna keep rolling with this habit. I like it a lot. It's like my summer thing now. Every morning, every weekday morning. All right, so let me know how it goes. And until then, good luck. All right, bye.